Well, you won't find this in a textbook. First graders are getting a lesson in life. Now, this program in Tyler connects classrooms with residents at an assisted living home. GMET's Andrea Valdez is here now. And it's not just the students who are soaking up knowledge here, right?
Right, and Lane, the kids are learning more about people skills like listening, and the residents get to ask questions about what they're learning in school. Spending her golden years at the Hamptons Assisted Living Facility, resident Barbara Ray grew to have a bigger appreciation for the younger generation.
We love to keep in touch with the different age generations, and we never get tired of seeing children.
When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, much of the residents went a long time without seeing their loved ones, including the littlest members of their family.
It really means a lot for us to see the young folks. We don't get to see our own young members of our families very much.
Because of this, the Hamptons partnered with schools like Grace Community as part of their Adopt-a-Grandparent program, pairing a resident with a first grade classroom of adopted grandchildren.
We've adopted a grandma at the Hamptons. It's like really fun adopting grandmas and grandpas.
On every trip to the Hamptons, the classes bring gift bags of handwritten cards and drawings for their grandparents, an activity that first grader Callie Rose enjoys doing.
One time I was giving someone a card and it was blue, and the person that I gave the card to, their favorite color was blue.
They wrote notes to us, and I put mine on my door, and I left it there a long time.
The children and residents look forward to every visit, learning lessons from each other after every interaction.
I learned from them that when someone's talking about something, you should sit still and be quiet.
Their sweet attitude, you know, they come, they give us a hug and a picture they've made. All means a lot.
Now, in a few days, the first graders are putting on their production of Little Bo Peep with their adopted grandparents sitting in the audience to cheer them on. Lane, back to you.
How cool is this? We could all learn something, not just the littlest ones.